Please rise. I've asked Mike Morris to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the May 8th, 2017 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently serve as chair of the commission and represent District 3, alongside Commissioner Shelley Bueller, who represents District 1, and Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Let's get started. First item, please.
First item is on unfinished business. Number one, acknowledge receipt of correspondence from Sheriff Jones regarding the renewal of the annual maintenance contract, contract C-145-2017 with CBS Manhattan LLC for the door access at the law enforcement center at a cost of $38,857 with funding from the 2017 budget funds.
Good morning, Commission. Under Sheriff Phil Bloom, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. What you have before is a contract with CBS. This is a contract we've had for a few years now. It captures a lot of things, not just the access to the law enforcement center, but also does the camera system for the courthouse, some alarm systems as well through the county. The contract is consistent with what we've had in the past, and so is the price. So, if there's some questions you have for me that I can maybe answer, that's what I'm here for.
Thank you, Under Sheriff. Are there questions, Commissioners?
I have none.
I do not have any. I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion to acknowledge receipt of the correspondence by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no, and that motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Under
Thank
Sheriff.
you, and thank you for holding us over we had some miscommunication on our part on last Thursday with the memorial, so we appreciate it.
We understand.
Thank you
We
very
do.
much.
Thank you for coming. Next item, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
Questions or comments about consent agenda this morning?
I have none. I would move for approval.
I second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers that total $1,038,056.26. The highlights out of those vouchers are payroll, $473,285.40. Payments to the district court, $99,871.89. State of Kansas for motor vehicle fund, $109,861.15. Health insurance premiums of $47,751.33. Workers' compensation payment for our workers' comp, Thomas McGee, $90,433.51. And finally, Parks and Rec is $83,973.64. I do not have any questions regarding the vouchers, and I would move for their approval.
A second.
Motion made to approve the vouchers by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no, and that motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the correction orders by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, Bond Council. Number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2017-21, acknowledging a request from United Methodist Homes, Inc. to issue revenue bonds, Series 2017A, in an estimated aggregate principal amount of $4,650,000.
Good morning, Bob Perry. The United Methodist Homes has requested the county issue $4,650,000 in revenue bonds. They intend to use the proceeds to renovate and improve the Aldergates Village out on Southwest 29th Street in order to kind of update some of the amenities. This is just the first beginning step. Next step is we'll schedule a hearing, do a publication, and have a public hearing on this, hopefully on the 25th of this month.
Thank you. Are there questions or comments for Bob? I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
A second.
Motion made to adopt the resolution by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Next item, please.
Item C, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval of request to issue a request for qualifications from consulting firms interested in providing professional engineering services for the widening and improvement of Southeast 45th Street between Southeast California Avenue to Southeast Croco Road, with funding from the engineering service, for the engineering services from the Federal Fiscal Year 2017 Federal Exchange Fund Program.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Blanc with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is the Public Works item. And as mentioned in the memo, our department would like to submit our request for qualifications to obtain engineering services to design the next section of Southeast 45th Street from where we left off at California all the way out to Croco. As you may recall, Southeast 45th Street is one of the roadways in the department's strategic plan to develop a nice multi-lane corridor, essentially trying to create a ring around the city. This would complete that section from 45th Street from Topeka Boulevard out to Croco. Croco's been completed from 45th up to 6th Street, and then 6th goes out to K4 and around that way. But anyway, this would complete that. What our thought is, we would design this all as one project, and then we would construct it in 2 phases in consecutive years. So it would be a 2-year construction project, and we'd probably break the construction at Barrington Road. There's also a fairly major bridge over Deer Creek at that location that would need to be replaced as part of this project. But we do have the funds to do design right now, and then assuming that the federal funds keep coming in as they have been, we will be building up funds for construction in the subsequent years leading up to it. Our plan right now, we would either look at construction in 2019-20 or 2020 and 21. So if there's any questions, we'd be happy to try to answer them.
Questions? Yes, Commissioner.
Tom, several months ago, John Knight with Parks and Recreation came before the Board of County Commissioners asking for a permission to go out for a request for qualifications for engineering services on the bike trail on the south part of the lake, where there's a very steep incline, and it's had some issues in the past that the bikers are not actually able to use. They need to get off their bicycles and walk the bicycle path. As we work on the 45th from California to Croco, would we be able to potentially combine these 2 programs or projects together so they might be able to save the taxpayers some money?
Yeah, that would be our intent. I spoke with Mr. Knight about that specific item, and because I was aware of that, and yes, we would want to integrate their thoughts and comments into the design of our roadway, and then maybe there could even be a cost sharing if there might be some aspects of the design that they want for the trail that maybe increase the cost of what we would normally do. Maybe we cost share some of the project, but yes, we have talked about that. I don't know specifically yet when they are wanting to get their trail constructed. If they can wait until like 19, see, that section would more likely be, I think the east half, I think right now we're thinking would probably be the 2nd year of the construction. So we'll have to see how long they can wait. But anyway, to answer your question, yes, I've spoken to him about it, and we will definitely bring them in when we're going forward with design.
All right, thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner
I don't
Bueller,
have
any
any
questions?
questions. I'll move to approve the request.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you very
you.
much, Tom. Next item, please.
Item D, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval of request to solicit requests for price proposals to develop a comprehensive long-range plan for Gage Park at an estimated cost between $75,000 and $110,000, with funding source to be determined later.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. As the clerk just read to you, I'm here to ask for permission to go out for requests for price proposals to do for professional services for development, redevelopment of Gage Park. And briefly, I put together a little history here of Gage Park and how we got to where we are here today. For over 100 years, close to 115 years, Gage Park has been the main quality of life activity of all Topekans and Shawnee Countyans. The quality of life, the people that come here are from all over the entire county. It's even outside the community. And this year, too, by the way, is the 50th anniversary of that train that you see right there, who has a recommended useful life of 20 years. And we are starting year 50 with that. Professional services, to give you a little bit more background on Gage Park. Shawnee County has 2 regional destination parks. We classify our parks in several different categories. They're designed to meet those categories. Neighborhood parks, of course, are designed to attract people in the neighborhood around the surrounding areas. Then the parks generally get bigger and bigger to specialty parks, and then regional and destination parks are ones that are designed to, like I said earlier, draw everyone from Shawnee County in there. In fact, also draw people from communities outside of Shawnee County into Topeka for their parks and recreation needs. Gage Park is by far our most heavily used park. In fact, in 2014, we did a survey, and 83% of Shawnee Countyans surveyed visited Gage Park between 1 and 9 times a year. And of that 83%, 30% of those visited the park more than 10 times in that given year. So it is a heavily used park. It's not just Shawnee County who runs Gage Park. In fact, we have a group of several different entities that help operate Gage Park. As you can see there on the list, they're all the way from the Topeka Zoo to the Kansas Children's Discovery Center, Helen Hawker Theater, Blaisdell Pool, and then our 2 big attractions of the Carousel and the Mini Train are also heavily used. Many of those representatives are here also this morning, helping support our going forward on that. I think they're here to support it. As I mentioned, over the last 100 years, there's been many changes to Gage Park. It's really interesting reading sometime to go back and see what the different things that have happened. But many of the activities that have been developed over the years have been popular and are still popular today. Others, through other reasons, unknown reasons, or the times, some of these facilities have been remodeled in less than ideal situations. One that I can comes to my mind right away is the Helen Hawker Theater. The reason they have bathhouse players is because that used to be the bathhouse for the swimming pool. It was designed to be a bathhouse, not a community theater. Although they've made the best of that situation and have a lot of attendance there and great programs there, that's some of the kind of things that happen. I will also tell you the operation of the Gage Park is not difficult, a challenge. The Topeka Zoo is run by the city of Topeka through the Friends of the Zoo. The Children's Discovery Center has their own private board. Most of the rest of the Gage Park is operated by Shawnee County Parks and Rec, and through minor contracts and agreements that we have with some of the smaller groups. But all 3 of those entities working together are the ones who help make Gage Park what it is, which is very good. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Gage Park isn't good, but collectively, all together, this I don't think it reaches the potential that it could if we were collectively planning and operating that facility going forward. No, somebody did not take a shotgun and shoot at my map there. In fact, we kind of limited the number of red dots as we were talking on what some of the issues at Gage Park are. If you would kind of squint, and I'll just kind of take you through a couple, but there are many more that I won't even go through. It looks like somebody may have reached into a pot of cold spaghetti, threw it at the wall, and that's how they designed the roads. And I'm not trying to be critical, because I know they were trying to use taxpayer money wisely at that time, but there is no really good way to navigate through that entire park. You can kind of see some of that. The parking that's laid out in there looks good on that map right there with no cars in those parking lots, but if you've ever been the father of a bride who's having a reception at Big Gage Shelter the same day that the zoo has an activity going on. The train is open, and then the Helen Hocker Theater has a play that night. Good luck parking within 5 miles of Gage Park. The other activities, what we use those parking lots for, since we don't have dedicated event space, is just as a reminder, the food truck festival that took place there last year. It was a great event attended by a lot of people. However, if we'd had event space for that, we could have separated the populations. If you remember, there was extremely long lines, and because it sat right there between the playland, we used some of the parking lot of the zoo, and the zoo had activities going on as well. One other thing, if you pull down to the center of the map, clear down at the bottom, you'll see maintenance compound. 5 to 8 acres of prime parkland sitting on what is probably one of the most busiest streets in Topeka is where we set our maintenance compound. Probably good planning back in 1900, but not so good planning today. That could be a lot more valuable, better used use of land. Here's a couple of examples that kind of go to that. You can see that top picture there. First of all, we have a citizen walking on the road, which ideally we would have a perimeter loop, a fitness loop that goes around the park so they could get off of the roadways there. This man's also crossing the railroad tracks. And then down below that, you'll see some of our wayfinding signs. Picture yourself being not one of those people that I listed earlier, and this would be your first trip to Gage Park in a while, at 25 miles an hour with a car in front of you and a car in back of you honking to keep you going, trying to read that sign at 20 miles an hour as you're headed to someplace within the Gage Park. To begin to manage some of these issues, the Gage Park Coalition was put together, and they meet regularly. There was representatives from the Topeka Zoo, Friends of the Zoo, the Kansas Children's Discovery Center, Helen Hocker, Visit Topeka, and then both the Shawnee County Parks and Rec Foundation and our department also are there to help manage some of these kind of issues and try to plan activities to lessen impact to the public as much as possible. Some of the main points that this Gage Park Coalition has put together, and the reason that the reason that they are together, I kind of listed a couple of them there, is they really want to, that they see the need and are pushing for a common vision to operate the entire park as a single entity, a single interactive community resource. Right now, what they've told me is that they believe that the community desire to improve Gage Park has never been greater than it is right now. All the people that I've talked to, they're gung-ho, ready to get after whatever it needs to move it forward. And also, if you look at the bottom one there, and I'll touch on it a little bit more in detail later, is look at the long-term funding and financing of how we operate Gage Park. I think there's some things there, public-private partnerships and some other arrangements that I think could help lessen the burden on taxpayers. The actual Gage Park stakeholders are the ones that are initiating this. In fact, I visited with several of the main players on this, and there's I don't want to step too far out here on the limb, but there's a feeling that since everybody's going to benefit, everybody's going to help participate in the study. We haven't laid out who's going to pay what and how much and all those type of things, but all of the partners are going to participate in some way to help get the study through. I will also tell you that through our internal methods, this is ranked as the number1 priority for moving forward due to the amount of revenues that come in, the amount of people that it serves. Gage Park has come to the top of that list. We began putting together an overall plan The one, and this is just one step that's before you today, but we took this plan to our advisory and advocate board and presented the entire plan to them, and it passed that group with a unanimous vote. We've also presented to the Shawnee County Parks and Rec Foundation. They've also approved that plan, which was also key because I'm sure they realized that through fundraising and some of the other community event planning stuff that a lot of work will fall onto that board of directors as well too. And I can't have a meeting or I can't present to the commissioners without bringing up the overall comprehensive master plan that we have. The Gage Park does meet the a key part of the master plan, which was the community vision for both land and financing. And to let me touch on that real quick here, when Pros Consulting came to town, that was one of the very first things that he noticed. And when they noticed this, it's not that there was something unusual about Gage Park, because many cities with 100-year-old parks are having the same kind of issues. But specifically, he listed several areas there that could really make the park a much better planned park, a much better opportunity for private financing, some of those type of things. And just to touch on a couple of those, there's he had developed a special event area, updated the loop trail system, which we are underway in the planning phases with the Sunflower Foundation right now. Improving amenities, and you can take a look down there. Some of the other things that I've mentioned down there at the bottom of that last bullet there, he also identified as well too. Wow, I need to get a better picture of John Knight in that one right there. Somebody's going to accuse him of stealing the department's basketball. The proposed planning phases that are in this RFP I listed up here, but I highlighted a couple of them because of Gage Park's history, us wanting to be respectful of that history moving forward. We want to include that in it. What to a elementary school kid, what's important to those people may not be the same thing that's important to the 70 and 80-year-olds. I talked to you about the making memories. It's been making memories for 100 years or more, and we want to plan this so that more memories can be made in the next 100 years. But it'll have extensive amount of public engagement, finding out from the public what it is that they want, what it is we could do better in Gage Park. The other one I didn't highlight on there is the number 6 is the individual management plan. This is an internal tool that our department's been using for about a year now. We're trying to get every parcel that we have to go through this individual management plan so that we are planning smartly all of our parks. And that will be part of this RFP as well. But also key in this that we don't always get into in all of our IMPs is you'll see on there, develop a business model and create business model alternate to include development of a concessions, park authority, urban park conservancy. Those are type of things that I think Gage Park, maybe even Lake Shawnee, lend themselves to of the way they're financed, and they may be able to lessen the burden on the Shawnee County taxpayers as we move forward. That'll be part of this process. Again, this is the map that I had up there earlier. I totally intended to leave this as the last item of my slide to kind of leave that in your memory for the next item that I come down here for to you guys. But I decided that this might be a better one to leave with you. I received this late last night. One of our advisory board members, Jim Martin, took his granddaughter out to the park yesterday, and this is her riding that train, and I'm not sure you could, I'm not sure how much that smile is worth, but she obviously is having a really good time, and I understand she went to sleep in the park before Grandpa did. So, with that being said, I'll be happy to answer any questions you have, and like I said, I have numerous partners that are here as well today, too.
Thank you. Questions or comments, commissioners?
This is a unique opportunity, I think, to draw all the stakeholders together to really map out what is the future of Gage Park. And I think this is really a good idea to bring this forward. We have the Discovery Center, we have Helen Hawker, we have the zoo, you have the city of Topeka, but we also have, following the original Gage Family Trust, there are some limitations we have with different parts of the land, some different things that we could or cannot do, but I think it's good to have a master plan this moving forward with the proposal for what is our long-range plan. So I think it's time for that to be done with Gage Park.
Thank you. Commissioner Wiley?
I appreciate everybody being here. I know, and you all volunteer, so thank you. But I think, John, I've been hearing about this for a while, and I think you've certainly done a good job this morning on building the case, building the need for us to take a refreshed and renewed look at Gage Park. And so that's exciting. That's exciting for the community. You're right, there's a whole lot of history there, but there's so much more that we can do. And this is a colorful group to look out this morning, and there's a lot of energy, I can tell. So I thank you to the Foundation Board, to the Advisory Board, and then the Gage Park Coalition, too. So it's very exciting for our community. Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, when this first came up, I thought, well, you know, we just had a comprehensive master plan done through Pros Consulting a couple of years ago. Why are we doing this? But I think the answer is that the Pros Consulting gave us general guidance on what to do with our asset of Gage Park, which is huge. And this will give us specific guidance on the future of Gage Park. So I support it. I'm glad you brought this forward, and I do support this. I would like to hear from some of the people that are involved in this. Anytime you have an opportunity to hear from Shannon Riley, we need to take advantage of it. So Shannon, why don't you start, and then others want to discuss this issue that's very important to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm part of the colorful crowd that was mentioned earlier. And like the Gage Park train, I was designed for 20 good years, and I'm coming on 53. We have never had a better partner at Topeka Civic Theater than we have in Parks and Rec. We are so proud of the work that is happening at Helen Hawker, and in all my years at TCT, it's some of the proudest work that I've ever seen us do. If you take everything else out of the equation, just the summer camps that are being done for kids and keeping kids involved all summer long is immeasurable, and we can't wait for the future that could come out of Gage Park with our partnership through Parks and Rec. So I'll turn it over to Vicki, who's much smarter than I am.
Thank you, Shannon.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Vicki Brocky. I'm the President and CEO of Topeka Civic Theater. Along with Shannon, we also have Laura Euler, who is our Artistic Director and Education Director for Helen Hawker Theater, and Jerry Hansen, our Board Chair. So we just wanted to briefly say how supportive excuse me, we are of this. We're proud of our partnership, as Shannon said, but we're also concerned about future safety issues. We know, as John mentioned, the building was not built for long-term use or as a community theater. So putting money into it is not a prudent thing to do, but we also know that losing parking right in front of the theater is going to be problematic for our kids, for our patrons, for our volunteers. So we're fully supportive and excited to see what the future of Gage Park will be, and equally important, what the theater in the park future will be. So thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you. Any others would like to
I was
comment?
going to say Brett, yeah. Brett would be good.
Hi, Brett Otting, Visit Topeka. First, I'd like to apologize to John. When I saw Shannon in a suit, I did not realize the importance. I just like to make 2 points, really agreeing with everything John said. Visit Topeka is a very firm believer with what Parks and Rec is doing as one of the best Parks and Recs in the country, and the amount of work that has been put into Lake Shawnee in the last few years has been realized of recent, with Expedia naming it the best place to go. And from Visit Topeka's perspective, if that same that same level of concern is put into Gage Park, the economic impact that could happen out of Gage Park would be equally as important to what goes on there. Lots of great things going on at the zoo with their master plan. Discovery Center is doing great things. There are concerns, as John pointed out, with the roads and the way things are set up in there. Unfortunately, we did move the food truck festival this year. That was just one thing. But when we created the food truck festival 2 years ago, it was my hope that it would be a catalyst to bring people to Gage Park, not just to eat out of a food truck, but to see all the great things and the great amenities in the park. And hopefully here we can figure out, we have a year to figure out how to make that work for next year and for the future. Because I know for me, the best part about the first year that we had the food truck was seeing everybody eat and immediately going to the zoo or going and playing in the park and all the different aspects to it. So I really urge you to take this seriously, because I think that the possibilities are endless with what we could do in Gage Park if we put some money into it. Thanks.
Thank you, Brett.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Danae Mosier, Executive Director of the Kansas Children's Discovery Center. I also have our Board Chair, Dr. Jimena Garcia, with me this morning. We're in support of this Gage Park Master Plan. We're proud to sit in Gage Park. We're excited about our partnership with all of these other wonderful organizations. But we see beautiful things that could happen in the future with a little bit more of a cohesive plan. Wayfinding, the signage, the Discovery Center is kind of noted here and there. And for some people, they hunt to find us. We get calls. We're at the zoo. Brendan and I share visitors every day, and so an opportunity for people to move fluidly through the park would be wonderful. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Bill Busher. I'm here on behalf of the board, Foundation Board, Parks and Rec. I'm a member of that board. John has presented this to us, and I won't reiterate his thoughts, but we understand the need for the traffic improvement, the parking improvement. There's some facilities in the park that need to be upgraded. The amphitheater could be a big draw, and in addition to Helen Hawker Theater. Also, I have a soft spot in my heart for Civitan Day Camp in Gage Park, so I fully support this. The Foundation Board does. We know John has also informed us of the fundraising part of it, so we're happy to be a part of that, so we appreciate your support.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Commissioners, Brendan Wiley with the Topeka Zoo. And Gary Clark once told me that the smartest thing he thought to do once he started as zoo director of our zoo was to do a Gage Park master plan. That was in 1963. It may be about time. In all seriousness, from my perspective, and I think Vicky's and Danae's and John's, there's a lot of different people doing different things in this park with a lot of ambition, doing things really well. But this plan helps us work together, helps us be on the, and I'm looking at Vicky knows why, will help us from stepping on each other's toes, identify potential problems that are looming there in the future, and with kind of one purpose, make the park the best we can for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. Any others? You know, it always impresses me that the leaders of the zoo and the Helen Hawker and the Discovery Center, what tremendous leaders we have in Topeka. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you all for coming. That wasn't for you, John. Next item, please.
Item D2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-151-2017 with Hy-Vee to provide food and/or beverages to people visiting parks in accordance with the food truck permit regulations.
Good morning, Commissioners. Shawn Osborne, Parks and Recreation. This is something that we put back a year ago and implemented, and this is just giving the opportunity for individuals to buy a food truck permit to sell in different locations through our parks. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions for Shawn?
I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Shawn.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item E, Commission Number 1, acknowledge that Calvin Kenny will be serving on the Parks and Recreation Advisory Advocacy Board as Commissioner Bueller's appointment.
And Calvin has agreed to serve. He's a recent graduate of Washburn University, and he's a graduate assistant coach for Washburn football. And so he's excited to join you all. So
Very good selection. Very good selection. I guess motion to acknowledge?
sure.
Okay.
Move to acknowledge
Second.
the appointment.
Motion made to acknowledge the appointment by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. I believe last Thursday, Commissioner Bueller had a question regarding our summer employment, and I gathered some, talked to some supervisors to come up with numbers of what we still are looking for. The horticulture and park maintenance, we're still needing about 12 to 15 workers for the summer. The golf course maintenance is another 10 that would be helpful. Sports, we're still looking, majority of the sports are scorekeepers, a few site supervisors and maintenance, but we're still looking in the neighborhood of about 30 scorekeepers. And finally, the aquatics, I talked to Dave Alaker this morning. As of Friday, we had 85 vacancies, but he has 17 interviews set up this week. So hopefully, if we can keep the word out and keep improving, that we will get these positions filled.
And who do they call?
They can call, actually, if you go to our website, snco.us or parks.snco.us. Human Resources has it on their website as well as Parks and Recreation. Look for seasonal employment, and it has the job descriptions, everything you need.
Yeah, keep reminding us, Randy, and thank you for
We'll do that.
Commissioner. Yeah, wow.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, Town Block Public Works and Solid Waste again. Just to let you know, right before I'd come down to the meeting this morning, we got notified from the city of Topeka that there has been a water main break on Southeast 29th Street between West Edge and Wittenberg Road. Now, normally we don't report water main breaks, but this is such a major roadway, and a lot of people heading out towards the lake, that they would be impacted. And at this time, we don't know how long it will take to be repaired, but I just thought I'd let you all know so that more people can find out about it. So, all right,
Thank you, Tom.
Good morning, Commissioners. Larry Moss, Shawnee County Treasurer. As usual, I'm the last one to speak, but May 8th, on May 10th, your taxes are due. So you have 3 more business days to pay those taxes. Just one last reminder. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Anyone else? Commissioner Cook?
No. Didn't have anything today?
Commissioner Bueller?
I'm just looking forward to the JADO meeting.
JADO meeting.
We have that on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. There will be a full presentation of the broadband proposal and the subcommittee that was chosen to review all those proposals. So all that will be included in the agenda.
Yeah. It's going to be a long and interesting
It is gonna be
meeting.
a long meeting.
Wednesday night, be sure everybody to tune in. I don't have anything to add. So next item, please.
Item 6, executive sessions.
There's not a need, so we're officially adjourned. Thank you for coming.